See that bright object in the sky? That's Andromeda, the closest major galaxy to our Milky Way, and the most distant thing you can see with the naked eye. And it's racing towards us at the rate of 110 kilometers per second. Eventually, 4 billion years from now, Andromeda will merge with our Milky Way in a huge galactic collision. But what if these galaxies were to collide tomorrow? Would all the stars and planets suddenly plow into each other? Could our solar system survive this massive crash? And what would this galactic light show look like from Earth? There are at least 100 billion galaxies in the observable universe, all colliding with each other. Larger galaxies merge about every 9 billion years, while smaller ones slam into each other even more often. Wait, what about dark energy? Isn't this hypothesized force pulling the universe and everything in it apart? It sure is. For nearby galaxies, though, gravity takes over. Andromeda and the Milky Way are no exception. They both contain central supermassive black holes that will eventually mesh the two star systems together. Imagine if that gigantic collision were to happen tomorrow. What would that look like? Andromeda's pretty far away. It couldn't just overcome a distance of 2.5 million light years in a single day. Let's assume that somehow, the supermassive black hole in the center of the Milky Way increased its gravitational pull on Andromeda's black hole, and the big crunch happened 4 billion years earlier than expected. What's next? First, there would be no Milky Way and no Andromeda. The two spiral galaxies would become a totally different type of galaxy, an elliptical one. You can call the new galaxy Milkomeda, or Milkdromeda, whichever one you prefer. Once Andromeda invaded Milky Way's personal space, the Sun and our entire solar system would be forced to the outskirts of the newly formed galaxy, 26,000 light years further away. And that's the best case scenario. In the worst case one, we might end up in a galactic Siberia, 160,000 light years away from Milkomeda's center. What about all the stars in both galaxies? Would they collide with each other? Some of them would. But even though Milky Way counts around 250 billion stars, and Andromeda has over 1 trillion of them, all these stars are separated by light years of empty space. It's unlikely that many of them would merge. Instead, they'd just get scattered into different orbits. Ooh, I forgot to mention, we invited a third galaxy to this party, the Triangulum Galaxy, or M33, a smaller satellite galaxy of Andromeda. This is shaping up to be a massive galactic mashup. For us Earthlings, this would look just incredible. The bright core of the new super galaxy would set the night sky ablaze. Eventually, the two supermassive black holes at the center of these galaxies would come so close to each other that they themselves would merge. All the gas taken up by this monstrous black hole would form a bright quasar at the center of the galaxy. Another spectacular show for us here on Earth. Too bad, in reality, our planet won't live long enough to see any of it. By the time Andromeda slams into the Milky Way, the Sun would have already turned into a red giant and swallowed up the entire Earth. What would happen if you flew into a wormhole? Would you ever hear back? Where would you end up? Back in time? Another galaxy? And here's what would happen if a wormhole formed in our solar system. You've probably heard of wormholes through Thor, Interstellar, Star Trek, or if you're really old school, Albert Einstein. In 1935, Albert Einstein and physicist Nathan Rosen came up with the idea of bridges in space-time. WTF? OMG. Sounds like you're catching on. Because an Einstein-Rosen bridge, or a wormhole, is also a shortcut through space-time. A wormhole is less like a bridge and more like a tunnel. It's a tunnel that links two different points in space-time. And if you were to pass through it, you could end up in a different galaxy, a different universe, or 14th century Europe. Ugh. But only if you found a way to keep the wormhole from collapsing on you. The trouble is, no one's ever seen a wormhole before, and we probably won't find one anytime soon. The other problem is, if wormholes do exist in our solar system, they're probably microscopic. Any wormhole that could accommodate human travel would require a crazy amount of mass. Think about it. The smallest black hole is thought to be the size of an atom, but with the mass of a mountain. So, while we can't really calculate the mass of a wormhole that could fit a few of us in a spaceship, just know that it would be astronomical. And its gravitational pull would probably redirect the tilt and rotation of all the planets in our solar system. But things would go back to normal soon enough. Wormholes are incredibly unstable and are prone to collapse quickly. This is because the walls of a wormhole attract each other, which is why the wormhole would probably close shortly after it opened. Unless you had some exotic matter. Don't get too excited. Exotic matter is negative energy, and it's what you'd need in order to repel the gravitational forces trying to bring the walls of the wormhole together. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that such matter even exists in our universe. But if you're already set on making a trip across the universe, there's just one more thing you should know. The laws of physics say that you wouldn't be able to put enough negative energy into a wormhole to keep it from collapsing. But on the bright side, that rule hasn't been tested yet. So, giddy up, space cowboy. Ride on, prove their existence, and we'll try to develop the necessary technology in your absence. But even if we could create wormholes and travel through them, would it be worth it? Is it worth tilting the Earth and rearranging the solar system just to visit another galaxy? Or go back in time? Read your history, read your science fiction, see all the movies, and play all the games you want. But let's be glad our solar system is the way it is. Would we even be here if it wasn't? But that's a story for
another worldwide science. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Thank you very much.